Hey guys, so today we're gonna work on doing struts and shocks, the whole complete kit there. Um, Here's what the shocks and struts look like. This is the old worn out one. As you can see, she's seen some better days, getting some rust, and that strut looks really bad. And here's the new one. It's clean, really clean. And you can see that strut compared to that one, it looks absolutely amazing. So if you ever hear anybody say your strut is worn out on the front end, or even on the rear, you'll know what they're talking about. That is that rubber piece right there. That's your strut. So as you see, I've already started on one side of the vehicle. So I'll record the secondary side probably tomorrow morning when I have some better lighting. We got one side off. I also did the brakes on that side as well, and we'll get all that changed out. We'll give you some pointers here, and let's just wait until we got a little bit better light. All right, so first things first, take the tire off. And then before you do anything else, take that tire off. And slide the tire underneath the car. That way if the car falls, the tire will catch it. And as always, put your lug nuts back on the bolts. Perfect. Now we won't lose them. So to take the strut mount off, we got a couple bolts to loosen up. We got these two here, this one here, and we need to take this guy off. So first thing I'm gonna do, take my PB blaster. I'm gonna shoot all these guys to make it easier to take off. All right, now I'm gonna take my pliers. I'm gonna remove this guy off. That strut shock. Just a little bit of twist and motion. Just a little bit, not much. And that pops right out. Nice and easy. Now I'm gonna let those bolts sit for a little while with some lubrication on there. Hopefully it'll soak in there and hopefully this comes apart really nice. Alright, so I got one of these bolts here loosened up. I'm going to leave this bolt and nut on until I'm fully ready to take this down and off. This bottom one I'll go ahead and loosen up. I'll go ahead and pop that one all the way off and leave this one on until I get this upper part done here. So I'll go ahead and break that off. I'll stick my ratchet on the other side. This car takes a 17mm for both sides. Stick that there to hold that down. And one thing you will need, you want a 6-point socket. This here is a 12-point. You want 6-point if you have enough to do them all that way. 12-point will go over here. Stick it on there. I'm also going to use my cheater bar on my breaker bar. That'll make it a little easier. These are really tight and really hard to get off. And once you get it loosened up, the reason I like to have the ratchet on there is so I can move this guy up and down and I don't have to keep taking it off. After you get it loosened up, that makes your job a lot easier. You can hear the ratchet in the back working. Just like that. Alright, so your sway bar, if you're having problems and you're trying to take your sway bar nut off, you're just turning this guy here. All that's going to do is spin, spin, spin. So on all of these sway bars, nut, on the back end of it, this one takes a 15. Got something so you can attach to. So you can spin this off and it won't turn on you. So if you're about to do this, have this in the back so it doesn't spin on you and you don't damage that. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take that guy off. Make sure that's nice and attached. I'll probably just use my washer impact. Then we're about ready to take this guy out. Gotta love tools. There we go. Alright. Now, let me get my punch here. Got a nice little punch. Stick it right on the edge there. Make sure I'm not going to hurt any of those threads. Get this guy up and out of the way. Just like that. Okay, we're almost ready. So, I'll go ahead and remove this other nut and bolt. And this will just go ahead and come right off. Pop that on. I'm going to lift up on this guy a little bit to relieve the pressure right here, and it should pull right out. Just like that. Now this guy, that ain't going to hurt that. Come right out. Woohoo! Look at that. She's ready to come. Don't forget to reattach your bolts and nuts so you don't lose them. Makes your job a little easier. Reattach that one. Perfect. Alright, now we'll run to the top. Alright, so the last thing we got to do, loosen up the nut on top, and that whole thing is going to fall right out. So we'll go ahead and do that now. And there it goes. Take that off, and she's gone. And now, we can take that right out. Just like such. Pretty easy. So one of the next things you want to do is take your old part and your new part and put them right next to each other. That way we can make sure everything's going to line up like it's supposed to. All the bolt holes, everything is about the same height. Ain't going to be perfect, obviously that's new. But everything lines up, everything looks nice, it's the exact same. You can tell here, this has this one doesn't. That ain't going to affect it too much. Everything looks exactly the same, so we'll go ahead and stick the new one right back in. Another quick side note. As you're carrying the new piece around, even the old piece, try to keep this end and this end away from your body. If something should fail here and it should fly apart, you don't want any of this hitting you. That'll sting a little bit. So we'll stick this new guy up and in. Got where she needs to go. Got my new bolts, so we'll head to the top and get the new part in. Alright, so I'm going to get everything out of the bag here and ready for me. Got the nut right there. Got the top piece here. Now I'm going to take it, put it in just the way I took it apart. We'll stick that top piece in. Just like so. Put the new guy on. We're going to loosely put this guy on. Just about to where she stops and enough where it'll hold it up. Now we can go back down to the bottom. Alright, now we can do everything we just did to take it off in reverse. Take that out, we'll lift this guy up, put it inside here. Just like that. Okay. Alright, there we go. And again, we're just going to loosely fit this on until we get everything in. This is the point where you want to stick all your bolts and nuts and screws and what have you all right back in before you tighten anything down. This will make your life easier in the long run. Let's get everything in. Just like that. Get the bottom one in as well. Jig it around a little bit, hopefully make my life a little easier. Boom, there we go. Get that on here. Got that back on, we can squeeze this guy back in. Slips right back in, and now I can tighten everything up. So we got the top here all tightened down. She's really tight, she ain't going nowhere. These bottom guys here, I did hit with my impact, but I am gonna grab my braking bar and tighten these up a little bit more. These guys need to be really tight so she doesn't move as you're going down the road. So to make me feel more comfortable, I'll slap this guy back on. I'm gonna grab my braking bar and make sure she's actually tight. I like doing it hand tight. Makes me feel just a little bit better. So I'll stick this guy on here, pull it down real nice and tight, and that part will be done. Now you can see there, I used that. That one didn't move at all. That one moved a little bit. Now I know they both have about the same amount of tightness. That's what I wanted. This stuff is ready to go. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put all these tires back on, the front two here. And we'll get to the next step. So let me pop these on real quick. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to raise the car up with my jack and take the jack stands out. Then I'm going to lower that car down just a little bit until the strut mount and the bolt up there starts moving up. Once that happens, I can jiggle that a little bit to make sure she sits properly. I'll show you what I'm going to do. Now that I let that down, got a little pressure on, I'm going to wiggle this guy here. I'll do the same thing to the other side. Alright, now we've got all the way fully on that. Those are exactly where they're supposed to be inside there. That little shaking will help vibrate it where it should go and sit. So now we can go ahead and tighten all this up here, and it'll be done.
Playing that way, he'd be picking them off. They brought some retired.
So there you go. That's how you change your shocks and your struts. And this is how you drive a rebuilt car. Yay! Running good. Got the new stereo in, got the new speakers, sounding good. Next time I might do some front end work a little bit more. Not sure yet. Have to see what the money looks like. But otherwise, thanks for joining today. Catch you guys next time.